Welcome to the aid station. I'm Chris Robb, and today it's wonderful to be heading to Buenos Aires in Argentina, where I meet Luis Vinker, who's the race director of the Buenos Aires Marathon. Welcome, Luis. Great to see you.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. It's a pleasure to talk with you. Thank you very much for us.
No, thank you so much for making the time. I'd love to start with just hearing a little bit about your background. You were telling me before that you work for the local newspaper and you've got a long background in that and love sport, but maybe just tell me a little bit of your story would be great. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. It's a great story for us. Yes, uh, I work at the newspaper for many years. I'm working now at the newspaper in this hot moment also. But also, I did the marathon in last 3 years as director. But I working a lot in our marathon, and we're very happy with the results in last 3 years in our race. Yes.
Yeah, you were saying that race now has, I think you said about 31,000 people with 20,000 in the half marathon and 11,000 in the marathon. That's fantastic, and it looks like an
Yeah,
amazing race.
yeah. Well, we are very happy with the crowd, with the people who runs. Also, we are very happy with the results. We put the race in the top level. The winners of the last 2 years did the marathon in 2 hours and 5 minutes. It's a fantastic,
Wow.
and we are yes, it's fantastic. And last year in the half marathon, the top five under an hour. One of the runner was did the record of South Africa, Okolake, Stephen, and also I remember he runs our half marathon, and 1 month after this race, he ran very good at the Doha World Championship in the World Championship in marathon. Uh, the, for example, the winner of Boston Marathon, Lawrence Cherono, was third in our race. It was a fantastic race. The women winner in the half marathon is now the world record holder in the half marathon, the Ethiopian race. It's a huge impact for us to have this level, also for the runners of my country.
Wow, that's amazing, and,
So
and something for people in the country to aspire to and come out and watch. And we were talking beforehand. You're saying that the country's been in lockdown now for 2 months, so obviously no sport happening, impact on the events. What's life like at the moment, and what's it been like for you being in lockdown?
yes, it's I don't remember in my life this situation. We are in quarantine in the last 2 months. The main trouble is in our city and around our city. Very worried about the city. We think we'll have 1 month more in quarantine, I think.
Wow.
And
What does
the
quarantine
sports,
mean? Does that mean that you're not allowed to go out of your home except for shopping? Are you allowed to exercise? What is it like?
they stop the sports, obviously.
Yes.
There are no training, not running the streets. They let only the very important things as the local shops, the pharmacy. Now they let the children can walk in the weekends, but the people couldn't work. It's very sad for our people in the Buenos Aires city and around. And there are no many victims, no many deaths,
Not many did.
fortunately, at this moment, and it's good. But we are waiting what happens in the next weeks.
Yeah.
But not sports this year. Uh, Maybe at the end of the year we'll have maybe soccer games, but I don't know at this moment.
That must be for a country which is so sports mad. Obviously, football. We were talking before Messi, rugby,
Yeah.
which is one of my passions. We were talking about. I remember as a young boy at university in South Africa watching the great Hugo Porta against the Springboks, and you now watch the Pumas
Yes.
and the Jaguares. So it must be very tough for a sports crazy nation not to be able to participate or even watch sport as well.
That's Chris. We are very proud of our sports. And, Messi, important many rugby players, football players, but Messi, for example, will play next week in Spain because the
Yeah.
Spanish tournament will start again in 10 days, I think, and another European leagues will start. But in Argentina, we think in September or October, maybe we'll start the local league, but without public. No?
Yeah. So maybe just some
It's
stuff
not
on
sure
TV.
at this moment. It's not sure.
Yeah.
But we cancel the race this year because it's impossible
Yeah.
to
What's the
train.
date of it usually?
Well, we are doing the half marathon every August, at the end of August, in the last weekend of August, and the marathon in the last 22nd of September. But we canceled this year,
Cancel
obviously.
both.
Yes,
Yeah. Well, so there must have
because
been many challenges with that. I mean, in terms of you work at the newspaper and you're the race director. There's a full-time organization obviously that puts that event on. Have you had to lay off staff and let people go?
well, I think we can do the organization of the race because we are preparing, but it's impossible to do because the frontiers are closed. The people couldn't fly. We receive many people, foreigners, many people. The 30% of the runners coming from Brazil, Chile, and other countries, and the frontiers are closed. And we are not sure that in September will be open. Also, the runners in my country hasn't time to train
No.
because they are not training now.
Yeah.
We prefer to stop, to think in another year. Will be a great year in next maybe.
Wow. And have you, in many parts of the world, people are postponing, canceling, they're putting on virtual events? Is that happening a lot in Argentina now that there's many virtual events?
No, because we receive many offers to do a virtual. We are thinking, but we we cannot to do the things now because the situation is very uncertain in this moment. We don't know what will be happen next week or in 2 weeks. Um, we prefer to work to think in next year, no, not in this year. But our friends or the other people of the run, the personal trainers, organization are doing things, and we are helping
Mhm. Yeah, and I guess I
them.
mean if to stage a virtual run, people need somewhere to be able to run, and if you're not even allowed to leave the buildings to go and do any training, not everyone's got a treadmill at home and whatever. So I guess that makes it very difficult for you. And I guess the economic impact on that. Did you have to refund entry fees, or had you not started taking entries already when you made the cancellation decision?
Well, it was a very economic impact for us, obviously, but we talked with the people, and we remain the place for the next year, not
Yes.
cost for the runners. We, they will run next year without cost,
Hmm.
zero cost. We are talking at this moment with the sponsors because they are in the same travel as the other people,
Yeah.
and we hope to be better next year and will recover. I don't know in in we don't know at this moment what will be next year, but we hope to recover next year.
Yeah.
But for us in this year was a very hard impact, but many people couldn't work, couldn't receive the salary, they are worse. No?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
wow.
a very hard situation in our country. Yes.
And from a government perspective, is there any support for the mass participation industry in terms of helping it to survive and get back on its feet? Does that come through in any government grants or anything like that?
Well, we work with the local government of the city. They support us to do the arrangement to cancel and to sing in the future, but no more. Maybe they are very busy in the main travel at this moment. Really, maybe about the race will sing in the future. They are thinking now to let the people to run again in next weeks, but it's very difficult.
Mm. And that's just literally people coming out to run, but yeah, as you say, so hard for them to train for an event, that was supposed to be in a couple of months' time. I'd love to talk to you about leadership. I always on the aid station I talk about leadership. You obviously as a race director, you're responsible for big numbers of runners, for volunteers, staff. Are there any particular kind of leadership tips you would give for people? Is there someone as a great leader that you follow? Are there any particular um, you know techniques that you follow when you're in a leadership role that you'd like to pass on and share with people that are watching?
Well, we did a specific work in Argentina about our race. We are not thinking in a commercial race. Our our goals in the race are a good technical race. We have a good director from World Athletics, put the technical directors in the race. We
Hmm.
want the better for the all people who runs, and we want a very good technical results, and we did. But it's very complex because we have 1,000 volunteers in the race. Many the race, the marathon is all over the city. We need to stop the traffic in the city, and our people are not the Buenos Aires people don't know the marathons as Berlin, Chicago, and New York. We want to do a party for all the city and very artistic moment. We did uh, many singers, many folk, many artistic moments in the race,
Yes.
in the start and in the end. And we want it will be a party for all the
Okay.
people who runs, who enjoy the race. It's our goals. That
Fantastic. So,
our main goals is the yeah yes yes, and we did mistakes also, and we learn with the mistakes, but we want to do the best. And we have something here. The the place of the race is very flat. It's
yes.
completely flat.
Right.
Yes. The weather in spring is very well also, and it's there are things very better for the runners. It's a very good place to run and to do the best time for the runners.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds amazing. I always like to end on an inspiring story, and I'm sure with all those runners, you've seen many inspiring things, and in your life, you've experienced inspiring things. Is there one particular story that you'd maybe like to share with people to leave with some inspiration, please, Lewis?
Well, every year we learn a lot about the spine stories of the runners. Last year we received a group of 20 runners of all over the world who are running in every places. We have people with very serious illness who run. We help them. Last year, one of the soldiers of the Argentinian army recovered from a very high cancer and ran the marathon, and we received him at the end a lot of toys to. Well, last year, a great moment was the start because our hero of sports in Argentina, Gabriela Sabatini, did the start, and the people was surprised with her. Also, another great moment was the start of the half marathon with 20,000 people sang our national anthem and
Wow.
a big flag with a big flag all over the crowd. It was very, very, very great moments here. Yes.
Wow, that must have been amazing because it's an anthem with lots of great energy in it as well. It must have been an incredible experience. What a great note to end on. Thank you so much for making the time. I wish you all the very best in these challenging times, and
Yeah.
hopefully you're back to a successful event in 2021. Thanks so much for making the time, Lewis. Lovely to talk to you.
Thank you. Thank you for all, Chris. Thank you.